It is so hot.
It's like a sauna.
Honestly, I'm finding it hard to breathe.
Can we get some oxygen tanks in here, please, for the help?
Holy crap. All right, I'm going to try to, we'll work our way through this thing. Okay?
Let's start over. Can we start over? Let's start over.
We're workshopping,
figuring
out how to work the thermostat here still.
Well, that's never...
It was set to unoccupied until 6:45.
Unoccupied? What does that mean?
Meaning it doesn't start cooling until then.
It's got to be 80 degrees.
When did it start earlier?
I don't know.
I guess we don't rate.
We just don't matter, John. You haven't figured that out
yet. We don't rate. I know I've already figured that out. But
5:30 or 5:15?
Yeah.
Take some AC in here? Okay.
Well, it's insufferably hot. I'm exhausted.
I can't work in these conditions. I can't.
I'm just trying to eke out breath here because it's so hot.
Wildcat strike here.
All right, 92.7 FM. No one else cares, but, we've got to be able to survive in the studio, or else there'll be dead silence. 1580 AM, broadcasting from State Street alive so far.
Yeah, so far so good, but it's early yet. Oh, boy.
What the heck?
I know. Yeah, it's the John and Gordy show, and for a Tuesday, a short work week for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's raining. It's raining pretty hard out there right now. State Street is looking very wet, and we're expecting showers and thunderstorms today. Look at our camera. It's covered with raindrops. God. Yeah.
No, those are actual things stuck to the building.
It looks, kind of, that's a weird look. Showers today. And right now, 62 degrees. Let's fire up the weather lottery balls
please.
Into the machine. Okay. See what our high temperature is today. Let's get the first number rolling. And that first number is 7. Time for the second number.
Yep.
And here it comes. 2. 72
Wow.
will be our high today.
I was hoping for a higher number.
It stays cool. I guarantee you it's more than 72 degrees in here right now.
Yeah, just to give
I'm going to bring in a thermometer.
Yeah. I mean, just to give you an idea of how hot it is in the studio right now, your eyes burn.
And I'm sweating right from,
this is insane.
First minute in.
Maybe it's just
John, I thought you were going to react to Gordy saying he should bring in a thermometer, saying that an Amazon Alexa can do just that.
Can it?
Well,
can it tell the temperature?
See, if we had a Alexa-controlled thermostat in this room, we could adjust it very easily.
We could, but we don't.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? I don't know. We've got a little fan over here. Boy, that's really helping out a lot. You can.
Well, that doesn't seem to be doing it. It's a tornado, but
yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, all right.
We'll deal with it, because we're veterans and we've seen it all. We can take it. We can take the heat.
We can't.
We can, up to a certain point, we can take the heat. Oh, man.
I'm glad we don't have any candles in the studio.
We don't need any of those. Although a lava lamp, I could bring in my lava lamp.
Do you have one?
I do. Yeah.
Wow.
It's one of the newer ones. It's not an old one.
Yeah. I tell you what, the old ones don't last.
They don't.
Yeah.
No.
They seem
they revamped the
to clump
lava lamp.
up.
Yeah.
They clump up, and sometimes they get a little mossy or moldy
Weird,
or something.
Yeah.
It's just
there's some kind of oil mixed in with the water.
There is
some sort of substance. Yeah, and it goes bad over time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like at if you've ever been to Lead Tigre.
Yeah.
You ever go to the Lead Tigre?
Yeah, that little place on the Beltline next to Dorn Hardware.
They got all these little lava lampish things in there. And we were talking to the bartender, and what they use for fluid is brake fluid.
Really?
Yeah.
Brake fluid.
Yeah,
okay.
That's actually one of the things they use in lava lamps.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's usually like the goopy stuff. The lava is usually just like regular wax mixed with the chemical that's used in brake cleaner.
How do you know that, Sam?
I don't know.
He's making them.
I'm a hobby chemical engineer, I guess.
He's got a little lava lamp store next to his apartment. We're going back to the 60s. Actually, the government itself is going back to the 1700s. So
Yeah, let's get ready for the big changes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Really nothing left of the country at this point. The Supreme Court has essentially shredded the Constitution, they've made up.
if taken over.
If you wanted to know just how much they have gone off the rails, or how much they have created their own legislation from the bench, I think this recent decision that they made with immunity is the best example you could ever give. There is nothing in the Constitution that says any of this stuff.
Right.
They have just expanded on it, and this is their wet dream. Wow.
Yeah. Now we can have a king for a president, basically.
Well, we're back to that, aren't we?
Yeah. We'll get to all of that. In fact, is Jim Santel going to join us again today?
Yes,
I believe he is.
36.
Explain
7:36.
all of that to us. And also, we've got somebody coming in on the show from the Dane County Humane Society, right? Tell us about a pet of the week.
Yeah.
So
they got pictures of the pet right here in the studio.
Looks pretty cute.
Yeah, I accidentally printed it in color today, so you get a little something extra special.
Real nice.
Thank you for doing that.
Well, here, why don't you put it up there in case anybody's driving into work watching us on their phone.
Sure. Yeah.
People do that all the time.
See that? Can you see that?
We can see it.
It doesn't.
There's nobody watching right now, Gordy.
Nobody watching?
No.
Okay. Well, great.
Oh, you can tell.
Yes.
You know that. You know that. All right.
Facebook.
All right, well,
Just
YouTube.
visualize a small black and white dog if you're listening over the radio.
Yeah.
they can
Very
rewind.
cute.
Rewind this.
Very cute. All right, let's get to the National Day
All right,
calendar.
let's do that.
See if that still exists because,
We apologize if we start hallucinating from the heat.
What kind of day is it today? This is actually a very short list today.
Yes.
Is it National Casual Sweater Day? Is it National Wildland Firefighter Day? Or is it National Anisette Day? Which day does not belong, John Peterson? You only have 3 choices here. National Casual Sweater Day, National Wildland.
It's not casual sweater day. How dare you? How dare you make me feel even hotter?
You are correct.
Wow.
Whoa, we got the real bell back here.
Brought the real bell in.
Big things happening.
Big changes. That's right. It is not National Casual Sweater Day. Why would they have a day for that? It makes no sense at all.
No. Oh.
But it is National Wildland Firefighter Day. Boy, those guys who fight fires out in the, out in the brush and the woods and man. July 2nd honors the dedicated personnel who coordinate their efforts to protect the nation's wildlands. It's also a day to remember the sacrifice made each time a firefighter steps into a wildland fire. Every year, wildfires burn millions and millions of acres across the U.S. Federal, state, local, military, contract, international firefighters and support staff respond to the many different emergency events. These amazing individuals are the backbone of the wildland fire community, and the men and women who work to save lives, property, infrastructure, and precious natural and cultural resources every year deserve incredible gratitude for their professional skills and efforts. I got to tell you, these guys and gals go out there and fight fires wherever they are. Yeah. Wearing heavy gear and equipment, trudging up, impossible hillsides and mountainsides. It's why,
and the training, the constant training to do something like that.
And
my wife,
danger,
Ann actually joined there was a school where they had regular, everyday people go through the courses that the firefighters go through. And, putting out fires, climbing buildings, breaking walls, the whole thing.
Yeah.
She was doing that. I mean, she had the outfit is like super heavy.
Very heavy, yeah. They have to be in really great shape to do that.
Yeah.
So we salute the wildland firefighters. Okay.
She did that research in a book.
Yeah?
She just doesn't go out.
Just for the heck of it?
Little
Join up with
schools, the police academy and the fire department. Just for fun.
What was the book that she was that she wrote?
Well, she's got like 25 books.
You can't keep track.
These are the spy novels. She's got an additional, 30 or 40 books from Harlequin Romance, which she now owns back again.
That's
Is
great.
this to say you don't remember which book it was?
She's got a lot of books. I'm sure she uses and applies that information to a lot of her other books as well. No, how do I keep track?
Who could keep track?
Here's the thing that she gets very angry about, and
What's
she
that?
knows this about me. I don't read books. I don't read them.
So you've never read any of her books?
I
that what you're saying?
I started reading her first one.
Yeah.
And I
get through it, huh?
My attention span is a magazine article,
That's interesting because
Twitter feed.
I can hardly read. It's hard for me to read fiction. I don't know why. I can't keep track of the characters and the plot developments. If you step away from it for a day or two,
Right.
I forget all that stuff. But nonfiction, I read all the time. Articles and books.
Yeah.
But fiction's a little more challenging to keep track of.
But she
perhaps.
knows I don't read. I just don't read novels. I don't do it. I haven't done that. I did the most I've ever done is the trilogy and the Hobbit.
Okay. All right.
So that was about it.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings.
Let's get to the other National Day. There's only two of them, really, actually, today. National Day calendar items. Anisette Day. You know the liquor?
Yes.
Liqueur derived from aniseed. Aniseed from the anise herb gives anisette its licorice or fennel flavor. Have you ever sampled
never
anisette?
liked that.
Oh, God.
Never
it's
liked that.
awful. While usually a dry liqueur, distillers sometimes add a sugar syrup for a sweeter result. Oh, see, maybe we're not drinking it right. Spain, Italy, Portugal, and France lead the world in drinking the licorice-tasting drink. Do you like that anisette?
I've
Sam?
never heard of it before yesterday when I was researching. But
If you want something, you go to a bar and ask them, and they'll give you a little tiny glass.
Really?
Like a little.
Oh.
I mean, I do
itty-bitty
like
glass.
licorice flavor, so
Yeah.
I
You might
like
like it then.
Oh, then you would like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No one likes black licorice except for Sam.
Not a fan of licorice myself either. Let's get to the history books. No? We'll get to that and a whole lot more coming up on the John and Gordy Show for a Tuesday.
Yes.
July 2nd. Welcome back to the John and Gordy Show.
Mad Radio, WMDX, 92.7 FM, and 1580 AM.
Stereo.
Stereo. In living stereo.
Stereo. Yeah. Just do the whole show like this.
All right.
All
We're
right.
broadcasting live from State Street, just a few blocks from the Capitol. And don't forget to use your Civic Media app to text us and then give us a call. So you can tell us what you think.
Okay,
I know. Thank God.
Sorry.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. All right.
Why are we playing Led Zeppelin anyway? Is it time to check the history books?
It is time to check the history books.
Well, let's open the damn book and let's get on with it, okay? I'm tired of waiting around.
We're just cranky.
I'm going grumpy.
Cranky.
It's too hot. The heat is getting to him.
Are you not sweating?
I am, yes.
Okay.
I am.
We got to get people with like giant palm leaves in here to fan you.
Can we do that? That'd be great.
Just like Trump.
Yeah. Today in 1900, let's get into the history here. I was playing Led Zeppelin because today in 1900 was the first successful flight of a Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Other airships had existed prior, but the Zeppelin was like the really first actual one that could be useful for anything. It wasn't like a hot air balloon or a helium or hydrogen balloon. It was a powered, like blimp-looking sort of thing.
Right. What was the fill? What do they use to fill it?
I didn't look what they used to fill the first one. I'm guessing it was hydrogen, though.
I'm not sure about that, but have you ever seen the Hindenburg disaster?
The footage of it crashing?
And
I have, yeah.
Have you heard the announcer? I think is Morrison is his last name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Humanity. Yeah. It's awful.
That's crazy stuff.
It is. All right. What else? What else you got for that?
Let's see. Today in 1881, President James Garfield, he gets shot. He doesn't die right away, though.
No.
He dies like 4 months later in September of 1881. He probably would have survived if doctors weren't like...
left him alone.
Yeah, if the doctors left him alone. Like, X-ray was a new thing at the time, and they kept X-raying him to try and find where the bullet was and pull it out. But they didn't like have all of the safety stuff.
Of course not.
For X-rays at the time, so it was
there was a lot of bloodletting too.
It was a rough time for him. Yeah,
that's too bad.
Today in 1938, more aviation history. Final contact was made with Amelia Earhart before disappearing in the Pacific.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they finally found her plane. I believe they kind of tracked it down.
Is there much left of it after all this time?
They've been searching since 1938, so
I guess.
I think they finally found.
They found what
remnants.
I think I saw. They found what they think might be it.
Right.
They
don't know.
Dived down to see yet. Yeah. Today in 1962, Sam Walton opens up the first Walmart.
I wonder if there was a ribbon cutting ceremony.
Went pretty well for him, I think.
Yeah. I guess that worked out.
Yeah.
For the family.
Yeah. I thought Sam's Club was actually older than Walmart. Sam's Club didn't open up till the 80s.
Oh, yeah. It was a spinoff. Yeah,
it was.
I went to Sam's. I was a member of Sam's Club, a business.
But
member.
they don't have that anymore, do they? Or
no, not in this area. I don't know if they even have the club. They may have the clubs in other states. They pulled out of Wisconsin, though.
Sam's Club still is in Wisconsin. There's one in Wausau.
Oh, do they have one here?
No kidding.
Okay, yeah. I guess Madison wasn't good enough for them.
We got Costco.
Too liberal.
We got Costco here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they don't cede any ground necessarily. But the thing is, the nice thing about Sam's was that you could use an app. You go through the store, scan the barcode, and toll everything up and pay for it while you're walking around in the store. And you just show the person at the door your receipt on your phone, and they let you out. They check your items, and that's it. And it was really cool. It was very fast and easy. I loved it. I thought that would catch on. It did not catch on.
Maybe you should bring it up to some other big store around here.
Costco.
Yeah,
Costco.
Yeah.
I wonder why they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you try and avoid Costco because there's that one employee there who shouts your name out and how you're a famous radio person every time.
I actually enjoyed that. I'd go in there just for that.
We should go in with you sometime.
She doesn't work full time.
Really? You don't know
like
when
she used to.
Oh.
Yeah, she works part time. But yeah, it was kind of embarrassing, fun, kind of crazy to have the announcement walking up as you're leaving the store.
She was a longtime fan.
Oh, yes.
Did you ever have it happen in, I guess you were on TV some here in Madison, but in Indiana where people recognize you out in public?
All the time.
Yeah?
That's That's the power of television.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Well, how did you react to it?
Mostly with fear and anxiety.
He
No,
doesn't-
it's
he's not sure who he offends usually, so
I always liked it, actually. I enjoyed talking with the real people out, you
Nice.
know, not the
Yeah.
so
not the puppet ones.
not the puppets, not the
You're
co-anchors.
so used to talking to puppets, you know, you're just kind of angry and
Well-
you know, pretty much don't want to talk to any more puppets after that.
When I did the kids show at Fox 47, yeah, I talked to puppets there, but it was good training for talking to TV anchors and other people on the
What does
on
that
the set.
say?
Well, it says a lot.
Yep.
I'll just leave that there. What do we got for birthdays today, Sam?
Well, right before we get to birthdays, I got one more big history
really?
thing I want to mention.
Okay.
Today in 1964, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is signed into law.
Wow. That was a
Big
big
deal.
Big deal.
And now
Yeah.
they're trying to take it away.
Well, yeah, when Trump becomes king again, I'm sure he'll take care of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. You know, I think he already thinks he's king.
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about
Right.
now in the news. You know, he wants everything, you know,
Yeah.
repealed.
Sure.
Any jury verdicts gone, history. Send it to the Supreme Court. They'll let them off. This is an amazing thing.
2025.
25. Yeah. Project
Ready.
2025 is happening as we speak.
They're already
Yeah.
in there,
Wild
taking
times.
care of business.
Birthdays, though.
Yeah, birthdays.
Birthdays, happy fun times. And also, speaking of the Supreme Court, Justice Thurgood Marshall was born today in 1908.
All right. And
Other birthdays, Lindsay Lohan, born today in 1986, and Margot Robbie, Barbie, born in 1990.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
What's-
Lindsay Lohan, she
what
was in
happened to
Herbie the Love Bug.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
She was in that one. I really liked that episode.
Okay.
I think that's
That
the
particular
only.
movie.
That was the first movie I watched with her in it.
And it was
actually.
good.
Yeah.
It was a good movie.
she was just a kid then, right?
No, she was
she was grown up?
Like young 20s, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Margot Robbie, of course, you know, doing the Barbie movie,
Sure.
put her over the top. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was just a fantastic
Amazing.
performance.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I didn't like her as Harley Quinn.
Okay.
I didn't like
see
her
that.
as that.
Okay.
She's a villain in the Batman comics.
Okay. Hey, I want to
just to
mention
fill you
something
in.
here. That
Yes.
the John and Gordy show is sponsored by Verlo Mattress of Madison. Sleep better, dream bigger on a handcrafted, locally made mattress. Find them on Madison's east and west sides or online at verlo.com.
You know, John and I both slept pretty bad last night. Maybe
Did
we
you?
should check them out.
Yeah, we probably should.
We should all go over there and check
Probably
out their
have a
mattresses.
mattress right here in
Do you
the
think we could
studio.
just, like-
Pass out from the heat.
We're coming back with more on the John and Gordy show, including Trump poopy pants. We've got that story
Poopy
coming
pants.
up.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Ed's Decaffeinated Caffeine, for people who like feeling nervous and wide awake, but hate running to the bathroom all the time.
Mad Radio, WMDX 92.7 FM, 1580 AM, broadcasting live while we can still stand the heat from State Street, from our studio overlooking wonderful Madison.
Yeah. We're talking about the heat inside the studio here.
Yeah.
So something's wrong with the air
Something
conditioner.
is definitely
It's
wrong.
not on.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong. That's okay. We can take the heat.
Yes, we can.
bear
We've
the
already
heat.
we've been able to take the heat for years.
That's right. Today's high 72. Right now it's 62 degrees. We have rain and maybe a few thunder showers along the way. 6:35. Hey, let's go to the John and Gordy hotline.
All right.
What do you
yes,
think?
we might have somebody waiting for us.
Oh, we might, but we do. Yes. Mark is on the line. Good morning, Mark. What do you got for us today?
Well, it's interesting. I got a couple of quotes here. I just happened to get a copy of Thomas Paine's The Rights of Man, published in 1791.
Mm-hmm.
And as he prints out, that he goes, "If I ask a man in America if he wants a king, he retorts and asks me if I take him for an idiot." And that's what our view of the monarchy was back then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Court just made a point of apparently quoting the Federalist Papers when they decided that we have a king. That I'll go on with what Hamilton said, because he was part of what they were afraid of they're afraid of this kind of thing in the Constitutional Convention, and they wanted to make sure there was cautions against it. But he writes that the errors and usurpations of the Supreme Court of the United States will be uncontrollable and redeemless. So, I mean, apparently they knew back then that the Supreme Court shouldn't have this kind of power to actually change the law and just say, well, we got a king now, and
Right.
you guys just have to all suck it up. Well,
So they were aware of it back then,
Yeah.
and
They were-
yeah.
and then there's not, and I point out to the entire Supreme Court, which others have recognized, is that the Supreme Court, there's nothing in the Constitution that directly enumerated that gives the Supreme Court the power to decide the constitutionality of laws. Period. I mean, that if they're so concerned about direct enumeration, there's nothing in the Constitution that enumerated that gives the president immunity to anything, which they could have done if they wanted to, and they didn't. So the Supreme Court is just lawless. They're completely lawless at this point in time, and that I fear for my country. I mean, and they talk about Joe Biden's bad performance in the during the debate, but at least he didn't fill his diapers and was able to just keep on going, because it must be something that Trump is really used to. That, if he can just keep on going without even hesitation when something like that happens.
Well, we have a story here. Justice Thomas is questioning the legality of Jack Smith's appointment. If you can even imagine that he's just ruminating now. He's maybe these justices are so far out of control. They are legislating blatantly from the bench at this point, calling balls and strikes all over the place.
And apparently Clarence Thomas wrote this in the immunity opinion.
Yes, in the immunity opinion.
They should get rid of Jack Smith. So,
And of course, some of the charges that Jack Smith is levying against Donald Trump are things he did subsequent to him being president. I mean, that if he's handing out information he took from the White House after he was president and giving it, say, who knows to who, and selling it to who, and that so even past presidents can do whatever the hell they want. I mean, is that what they're saying? I just don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You would think that because of what Trump did, I mean, this is before the decision. This decision should not affect anything that he had done beforehand. Now they're giving him this, and this would mark the time that, these laws or whatever is declared by the Supreme Court at this point should take effect now, not prior to this, not retroactively. You would think.
One would think. One would think so, but apparently they think that we need to have Lord Donald Trump as president of the United States, and his family is it'll be President Ivanka at some point in time, and that and her children after him. So,
Right. If the thing is, and no one's talking about it, but, Biden now is free. He doesn't have to worry about going to jail or being taken to court, or he can do anything he wants at this point.
Apparently.
And he came out last night and said that he wasn't going to do that, to my disappointment.
Yeah, he said Biden warns immunity ruling sets dangerous precedent. That's one of the headlines on CNN today. But Mark, we appreciate your call. Thanks for checking in with us.
I know we're all disappointed. We're all stunned. I think the nation is in shock at this point.
Well, I think so.
To see the Supreme Court make such an outlandish decision.
Right.
My God. But there's point after point after point. My son texted me point after point after point from somebody he was reading. He sent me a link to that, and this guy covers everything, and he even includes pictures, cutouts of the decision to prove his point as he was explaining, what the Supreme Court really did, and they really did make him king. Yeah. There's nothing he can be guilty of at this point, and he could claim everything is an official duty. Mm-hmm. He can even tell the vice president not to approve the election.
Yeah, he could do that.
He could do that.
Theoretically, yes. Yeah.
He's free to do that according to this current opinion by the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm. Sam, did you have something to say?
Gosh, I did, and then I lost it.
Okay, good.
Jim Santel. When I sent him the link to join the show for today,
right?
He called it cataclysm, straight cataclysm out of the court.
Okay,
yeah.
That says it all, and we're going to talk to him in just a little while.
Losing the Chevron difference was a huge thing, and that's where Congress has no power at all now. The Supreme Court has taken that away from them.
It's crazy.
And now they put all the power in the king president that we have, or will have forever at this point. Yeah. Somebody's got to overturn this. I don't know why we're not talking about expanding the damn Supreme Court. Let's get this thing together. Let's start the conversation.
Right. Yeah, that could happen. Man. The president can do that, right? Well, I think he can because he's king now, so maybe he can.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah. Well, on it goes. And again, we'll talk with Jim Santel a little bit later on. And what about Trump anyway? Are we hearing some more things about the debate? Some audio that was picked up?
Some audio that was picked up, and you heard this on the Stephanie Miller program.
Oh, that's right.
I did not hear it there. Right. I found it someplace else.
Yeah.
But
she's been talking about this.
Yeah. Hal Sparks is the guy who travels with them for the comedy show, the Sexy Liberal concert tour that they have going on. And we talked to Hal Sparks.
Yeah, we met him before the show, hung out with him. Very funny guy.
Yeah. He pointed us to some special gum that we could chew that would improve our throats in case we had sore throats.
Yeah, did you
I have not tried that. No.
Yeah.
No, we're going to have to try that.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's a great guy, but he's very off the charts.
Over the edge.
He is. He's fun,
edgy.
Crazy. He's very edgy.
Yeah.
And he discovered something that was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Some audio. Now, you have to remember during the debates that each candidate had their mics turned on and the other ones turned off.
Right.
So any sound that you hear is coming from the open mic, not from anyone else's mic or anybody else in the room. So why don't we hear Cut 12? This is the audio presented by Hal Sparks of what happened during the debate when Trump's mic was on.
Yeah, listen closely.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed debate night. I know there's a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth and rending of garments, but I think the key moment of the evening, if I can give it to you, of course, is the time Donald John Trump, who's only person here whose mic is on at the moment, pants on live television. Listen carefully after the words, "It's too much money."
Do you notice he never took out my tariffs because we bring in so much money with the tariffs that I imposed on China? He never took them away. Can't because it's too much money. It's tremendous. Took them away. Can't because it's too much money. He never took them away. Can't because it's too much money. It's tremendous. And we saved us because it's too much money. It's tremendous. And we saved because it's too much money. It's
Oh, is this? That's good stuff. I'll be posting this video in just a few moments.
And he did. So
So there you have it.
that's
That's real.
that's real.
Huh?
And that's been confirmed by other individuals who found this and posted it as well. But Hal Sparks, we know him, so I thought I'd put his presentation on. He's always funny.
He is.
Somebody has sent a text in regards to this.
Yeah.
And he has said, then they'd get an angry look on their face like Trump did, and after about 30 seconds, a horrendous odor would fill the air.
He's talking about as a parent.
Yeah.
He learned to look for signs for his toddler.
His
when
toddler.
They were about to,
Yeah,
you know.
you get this angry face, which of course Trump always has. So it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to tell when that moment's going to occur.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's just a part of the
We just
part of the craziness.
We had to point
that
it out.
is the debate.
It's making the rounds.
Yeah, everything else.
I like the text above it, too, from Tom in Milwaukee. Let me get this straight. The Supreme Court had to take power away from the administration because it had too much. On the other hand, the president, who's the head of the administration, has unlimited power. Well, at least as long as it's dressed up as an official act.
There, yes, and it is. Everything's going to be dressed up as an official act at this point.
That's it. Everything's official. Yeah, I know. It's exhausting. Isn't it? Yeah. You
Oh, Jim, why isn't he here now? You know, we need to
we'll talk to him.
we need to vent a little bit.
We're going to talk to him in our next hour. Okay.
Jim Santel is going to be here.
Yeah.
He's our legal opinion guy. He's
Yeah.
the attorney that can handle all of this stuff, and he is not in a good mood. Well, what was it he said?
He called it cataclysm.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
there you go. Yes.
Little tease,
We're just trying to
buddies.
put it in
Yeah.
perspective. That's all.
we're also going to be talking with Amy Good from the Dane County Humane Society, and she's going to not only talk about the featured pet of the week, but also some important information about animal medical services.
okay.
You know, you have a dog. I'm thinking about getting a dog.
Yeah.
Haven't had one for a couple of years, and we're going to talk with Amy about some of that coming up.
I had a paralyzed dog.
You
and,
did?
yeah, that was a trying time, but boy, we made his life worthwhile.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
You got some wheels that you
got-
could attach to his hindquarters.
Yep.
there.
Yeah, we lost the use of his hind legs, and
Yeah.
we got wheels for him. And in winter, we got skis for him, and he loved the skis. He loved the skis. And
I saw him a few times. I came over.
and my
and-
wife
yeah.
has posted a bunch of videos
Yeah.
of those times,
That's great.
even when they happened. And the thing is, with him, he would make sure that I was snow blowing correctly. He was knocking the back of my legs,
He was all over
moving me on, so I didn't slow down while I was snow blowing. He just loves snow blowing. Yes. But anyway, I think it's time that maybe we get it. I don't know if we have enough.
Yeah, we got what? What do you got?
2 minutes.
What do
Should
you-
we just
What?
sit here and complain about Trump being the
We
king?
could do that for
we
a
could
couple
do that
minutes.
for 2 minutes.
You know, think about. I mean, if we had a Supreme Court back in Nixon's day, you know, with Watergate.
Yeah.
If they had, if the president had limited immunity back then, that whole Watergate thing wouldn't have happened. He would have stayed president.
Well, you stole one of my stories out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Got that?
John Dean,
Oh, sure.
who worked in the
He was
Nixon
the-
administration.
Yeah, he was the president's lawyer or the
That's right.
presidential lawyer.
Yeah, and he said
White House
that
lawyer. Yeah.
Nixon wouldn't have had to leave office.
Right. He would have stayed.
Yeah.
Indefinitely. Yeah.
Wow.
I know,
You know,
that's a
it changes
mind burn.
history just like that.
Woo. Yeah. And does this immunity cover past presidents like George W? And I mean, is there anything that it covers presidents from years gone by?
I would assume it does. I mean, if it covers
seems like-
everything that Trump did.
I mean, if Trump is going to
Already.
be able to go back to the hush money case now, everything's open again. It's
Yeah.
just crazy time. Crazy time in America. We're here to report it. For
although
you.
he wasn't president at the time, so
That's interesting. Yeah.
it probably wouldn't work.
Okay, 6:49. We've got a whole lot more of the John and Gordy Show coming up, and as we mentioned before, Jim Santel coming up in a little while.
That's right.
Yep.
All right, we'll be back.
Good morning, Amy.
Why didn't I see that?
Good morning.
Hi, Amy.
Hello.
Good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back here on the air in just a minute.
There we go.
A little less.
Got my
this was
headphones
a short
on.
break.
I'm good. I can hear everybody now. Headphones are back on. I think they're melting to my ears.
You guys got the sheet I printed?
We do.
Okay.
You have it? You have this?
I only printed one copy.
Just one copy.
Okay.
You're the guy. who...
The other one can look at the pictures of the dog while you're reading.
Don't do that to me. I have a 1-year border collie. That girl is, hands full. You might see her at the shelter soon.
Really?
10 seconds.
Good.
Here we go.
Mad Radio, WMDX, 92.7 FM, 1580 AM, and we're on your Civic Media app as well. You can get us anywhere in the world, and that is suggested, of course. You can also watch us on all the social media applications. Please, while you're driving, if you are watching us, just be careful.
Okay. Time for us to welcome Amy Good to the show. Amy is with the Dane County Humane Society. Good morning, Amy. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
So let's get into you. First of all, you have a pet of the week, but we want to mention also that the Dane County Humane Society has a lot of different services that you offer. Lots of good things happen there, including, let's talk a little bit about the animal medical services that the Dane County Humane Society performs, because sometimes you get animals in that need some help, right?
Absolutely. So we're taking in the strays from Dane County and sometimes surrounding areas, owner surrenders, and we're also taking transfers from other shelters that cannot provide medical resources for their own animals. So we do have our own vet clinic right on site, and we call it Animal Medical Services, and that helps us provide really good care to the animals coming to us.
Mm-hmm.
How many medical services do you provide typically in a year, or do you have some numbers on this?
I do, yes. So last year, looking at last year's numbers, they did almost 11,000 exams on animals, and that could be the initial exam when they first come in the shelter to see what needs they might have, rechecks after surgery, all different kinds of things, which I think is just a lot when you really think about 1 year. And then they did over 3,000 spay and neuter surgeries alone, because every cat or dog and rabbit is going to be leaving already spayed and neutered before they go to their new home. But what's really amazing is we have some talented surgeons who can do other things too that a lot of shelters just can't. So we can do dentals before adoption, amputations, eye removals, other things that, animals that have maybe been hit by a car or have other medical needs that need to get addressed before they can go home.
Yeah. Just a question. I had a pet, the back legs were paralyzed, and we have wheels. Do you take donations for special equipment to help pets out that way?
Yeah, absolutely. So we take all sorts of items for pets. And, here's my cat.
Good.
Joining us on the show. Not too surprising, right?
What's the cat's name?
This is Otis. He is a Dane County Humane Society alum. He had a dental before he came home with me. I eventually adopted him.
He's a big cat.
That looks like a big cat.
He used to be very large. He's now 17. He's kind of an older guy now and has lost a bit. But yeah,
that's cute.
But
Very
it's
cute.
a really good question about the donations, because if we can't use it for the animals in the shelter, we do have our 2 thrift stores now. So if we can't use it at the shelter, we can sell it for proceeds that will ultimately still help our animals.
Sure. Okay.
Where are your thrift stores located? Yeah.
So Thrift Store West is right across from Woodman's West and Madison on Watts Road. And the Thrift Store East has not quite opened yet, but stay tuned. Next couple weeks, probably, we'll be over on High Crossing Boulevard.
And these are thrift stores not just for animals. I mean, there's all kinds of things in there, right?
Right. So we definitely have a lot of pet items just because of who we are, but there's general household items and clothing and all sorts of things you'd find in a traditional thrift store.
Okay. So let's talk about the pet of the week you have, the featured pet. His name is it Lou?
It's Lou, Lue.
You sent us a picture of Lou. He looks, so he's a young adult boxer, right?
Right. So we don't know an exact age, but definitely a younger adult. He's only about 30 pounds, and he is one of those animals who came to us from a shelter in Wisconsin who couldn't provide for his medical needs. Yeah, he's super cute with these huge ears that stand right up. But he actually had fractures on 3 of his legs. So he had quite a lot of medical work that needed to get done, including 2 major hip surgeries. And our surgeons can do that, or we have volunteer vets who often help with these orthopedic surgeries. And then he went off to foster care for rehab.
Is he?
So now he's running and playing and jumping around. I understand.
Yeah.
It's a mixed breed, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's our best guess. You can just kind of make up whatever you think he might be.
Yeah.
Right?
Doesn't look like a boxer to me, but I guess you could call him a boxer.
Look at those ears.
Yeah. Straight up. Very,
cute.
very attentive. Very focused.
Yeah. You don't know the age of him?
I mean, we're guessing like around a year-ish.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's still definitely a young adult. He's a big puppy.
Yep.
So kind of like your
So-
border collie. Probably a lot of
Yeah.
energy, still running
Very
around
much
now.
Yep.
So if somebody is interested in adopting a pet that they see on your website or come in person, what's the application process?
So we are actually what we call adopters welcome, meaning we are more about having conversations with folks coming in our doors and finding the best match. So we don't actually have an application per se. We have a worksheet that people fill out, and then our adoption counselors talk with them and kind of try to figure out what they're looking for in a pet, and then talk with them about how they can be set up for success.
Otis is helping you out this morning.
Otis
sure
is hogging the camera.
Oh, Otis.
Yeah. And Amy, what's the website once again?
It's giveshelter.org.
Okay.
All right.
And you're open. What are your hours there?
Yes.
Yeah, so our main campus, the Adoption Center, is open Tuesdays 2 to 7, and then Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Monday, are
That's okay.
12 to 7, and then weekdays it's 11 to 5.
All right.
All
Good
right.
enough. Amy, good. Thank you for being with us today, and thanks Otis too for making a cameo appearance on the webcam here.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Take care of me, Amy.
All right.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
That's great stuff, isn't it? You know?
It is. It is.
Boy.
Otis is very cute. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What did she say? 17 years old?
Or 16, something like that.
Sam, I've never asked you. Do you have a pet?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm technically allowed to with my current lease, but I need to pay extra. I don't think my lease for next year has that clause in it, though, so I might end up getting a cat or something for the house.
Did you grow up with any pets?
Yeah, we had just like a family dog. Her name was Casey, a Springer Spaniel, and now my parents have a golden doodle named Walter.
Yeah.
Golden doodle. Wow.
A lot of people are
Walter.
getting the doodles out there. But they're cool.
They
They're
are.
cool-looking dogs.
Absolutely.
Good temperament.
Very good.
You don't want to get something too high-strung. Just a word of
Why do you-
advice. I
need to-
understand it. Our dog went out on the street yesterday.
Oh, no.
For
Really?
the very first time out in the middle of
my
nowhere,
goodness.
thank goodness.
All
but
right.
running down the street.
Okay, coming up, Jim Santel and a whole lot more. We're going to also checking in with Brittany Morleau. Coming up on John and Gordy.
Amy, you still here? Oh, you muted yourself, it looks like.
She what?
I'm still here. It's
Oh.
saying uploading, recording, and I didn't leave yet. I don't know if that's true or not, but
Yeah, if you'd like to, it's not like strictly necessary. It just uploads a higher quality version of the video and audio.
okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having
we
me.
appreciate it. Thank you,
Yeah,
Amy.
Lisa should be back from Italy next time.
Okay. I didn't realize she was in Italy.
Oh yeah, she's like in a 2.5 week vacation. It's a destination wedding for somebody in her family. So fantastic. All right, but also other times if she's not back.
Yeah, we're pretty flexible.
So cool. All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
It's the John and Gordy Show.
Do you know what this means?
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
You're pretty high and far out, aren't you? What kind of kick are you on, son?
No good bastard. Your show sucks.
What made me think this was a good day to stop drinking?
Buddy, you want coffee?
Coffee. Black coffee.
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 They warned us about people like you.
What a load of crap.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
We'll do it live.
And that's the way it is.
Only on Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX. Take it away, boys.
Okay.
Well, if we could just get a oxygen.
We're both.
Can we get an oxygen?
You guys are both starting to suffocate.
I don't think it's ever been warmer in the studio.
I mean, why don't you just open a window?
Well, okay, that would be great, wouldn't it? But
Every window can open at least once.
well, yeah.
We could use a chair to open the window.
We could. Yeah, both of us could lift one of these heavy chairs.
Yeah,
and throw.
that's impossible to do. But it is so hot, my eyes are burning.
It's okay. We'll get through it. It'll
Yeah.
be fine. I'm sure we'll fix the air conditioning at some point.
I don't function well in heat. Honestly,
I don't.
I do not.
It's tough.
How do you function? Do you like spicy?
How do I function at all? That's a good question.
No, John, do you like spicy food?
I love spicy food.
Me
I like
too.
sweating from spicy food. I do not like hot rooms, though.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of spicy food, I went to a Mexican restaurant last night. Garibaldi's. You ever been down here?
No.
It's right downtown on Butler Street, over on the other side of the Capitol.
Yeah.
Really great Mexican. And, I was looking for a restaurant open on a Monday night. Good luck finding one.
Yeah.
But they're open, and it was excellent. Great
Really?
atmosphere, and the food was wonderful.
Really good food,
I
huh?
had a
Good.
enchilada. It was excellent. Okay, big
All right.
thumbs up on
and
that.
I don't normally go to Mexican restaurants.
Yeah. Oh, this is
Not
genuine
Not
Mexican
on my list. This
food.
is really good stuff,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should go there sometime.
All right.
They're open for lunch, too. All right.
Well, I'm taking that as an open invitation. You're paying.
Okay.
Trying to get another sponsor here,
Yeah,
Gordy?
maybe. Speaking of sponsors, the John and Gordy Show, sponsored by Verlo Mattress of Madison. Sleep better, dream bigger on a handcrafted, locally made mattress. You can find them on Madison's east side and west side or online at verlo.com. That's verlo.com.
I wonder how one handcrafts a mattress.
Well, they've been doing it a long time. Verlo, I think they've been here.
Yeah, they've been here
quite
a long time. Yeah, the technology has changed, and I'm sure they have changed along with it. There's a lot of different kinds of materials used for mattresses now.
Yeah, they've got it all together.
All right. I ran across a whole bunch of articles that just kind of tied together for me, and I'm going to present them here on the program this morning.
Right now?
And this is
Really?
This is DEI. This is a big pet peeve of mine because initially I came right out with it. I saw what was happening.
Yeah.
And this is a way to sustain white nationalism in this country. The white majority must stay in power, and I saw the movement by Republicans to do away with DEI as part of that movement. They don't want to do away with systemic racism. All right, so I saw these three stories, and we know that Robin Voss is big on this, and this guy is, you be the judge.
Yeah.
But again, DEI and doing away with it is systemic racism. They are trying to keep that in place. White nationalism is the name of the game. So I saw this story, and this is from Senator Tim Scott. He's black, and he forgot about the right wing's racist attack on Obama when he was president and he was speaking. And I'm going to play a cut from Tim Scott. And
he's running for vice president, right?
Yeah,
with Trump.
He's really kissing up.
Yeah.
So he thinks, I guess, we're living in Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream.
Okay.
Where we see people for their character and not the color of their skin. Now, remember, Martin Luther King said he was waiting for that day.
Right. Yeah. He was waiting.
We're not there.
We're not there yet.
But
that was the theme, yeah.
According to these Republicans, they think we're there. Or we can just skip all the hard work in between and get to that point right away. This is Tim Scott, cut 157. Let's hear him.
Chosen as the vice president, you would be the first black Republican VP on the ticket. How do you feel?
I think it's exciting, no matter the outcome. It's the evolution of the Southern heart that we see on display. And we Southerners get so little credit for the progress we've made. The whole notion of judging a person on the content of their character, not the color of their skin, has happened. It's not going to happen. It's not around the corner. It's in the rearview mirror.
Oh, yeah.
We are living Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream.
We are. You are. You're in that dream world, thinking that it's in a rearview mirror. It's long gone. It's past. We shouldn't be doing this anymore.
We're there.
Yeah.
We're there.
We don't remember any of the attacks on Obama for being black and from another country, and he wasn't really a citizen.
Yeah.
All of the things, birth certificate. Forget about all that stuff. It's in the mirror, you see?
Yeah.
It's in the past. All right, so that's Tim Scott. So, again, tell me why we don't need DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Right.
As we insist, we don't see color anymore. The Biden campaign is recirculating a video of Trump claiming Americans would prefer to have a white president than a black one. Let's hear that.
Would you rather have the black president or the white president who got 1.7 billion off the price? I think they want the white guy right now. Would you rather have the black president or the white president who got 1.7 billion off the price? I think they want the white guy.
I just had to repeat that. It's
chilling.
It is. It's breathless, breathtaking, rather.
Mind-boggling.
What the hell? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, so anyway, again, we don't know. We don't need DEI. We just don't need it. It's in the rearview mirror. Forget it. Racism, systemic. It's gone. We walked past that. We're more advanced now. How about this? This is a story that I don't. It's mind-boggling. Okay, a white couple was found to have adopted black children for slavery. Let's check this out.
It's no secret how deep racism goes in this country. Yet somehow we're still stunned by cases like the one we're bringing you tonight. We begin with a case out of West Virginia. Gene Whitefeather and Donald Lance, a white couple, are accused of treating their 5 adopted children like slaves. We know for sure 3 are black, according to the indictment. Prosecutors say the children were also targeted and adopted because of their race. The pair was arrested last fall. This was after a wellness check turned into a reveal about the living conditions of the children. 2 of the children, 14 and 16 years old, were found living in a barn outside. Neighbors tipped law enforcement off. Deputies discovered there were limited resources in that barn. The teens only had a small porta potty, no running water, or a mattress. According to neighbors, the children were not allowed inside of the home, the main house, and had to do farm labor outside instead. Whitefeather denies the allegations and says the barn was simply a teenage clubhouse. Both Whitefeather and Lance are now behind bars as they wait for a trial to begin September 9th.
What a horror story.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
It's awful. That's
systemic racism. Rear view mirror there, folks.
Yeah.
Anybody?
DEI. Yeah, we don't need that.
We don't need it.
Right.
No, we're living out Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream already. I mean, it's there. We don't see the color of a person's skin. We only see them by their character. And those 2 young children, obviously, they were, viewed for their character. Living in a barn. When
a teen club.
These stories are going on all over the country. I just thought this was the most egregious one that I could give as an example. But again, this is happening over and over and over again. And this move to get rid of DEI, I saw another story where they're taking out all these, the college DEI programs,
right? Yeah.
Clearinghouse, because they don't need it anymore. it's not that they don't need it anymore. These colleges are being threatened by the administrations, the Republican administrations, to do away with this stuff, and they are. They're doing away with it. That's the scary part of it. The realization, as I was reading these stories, is that this is going to the wayside. They are actually doing this. They're clearing out DEI.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's happening.
You know, they just don't want it there, and they frightened everybody with threats of defunding, just threats in general, because they know the majority is going to make some kind of law, some kind of penalty in order to take care of these colleges that resist or don't want to do it. It's not a choice anymore. They don't leave it up to the colleges to do this kind of stuff. They're forcing colleges to make sure that they keep things the same. Keeping things the same is the problem. We encourage diversity. We encourage equity. We want that. But instead, they're being forced with money, funding, threats from Republicans to do away with anything that weeds out and gets rid of racism.
And with
systemic racism.
And admissions are down, generally speaking, at a lot of these bigger colleges and universities.
Right,
and
not enough people are going to college anymore.
Right, and they want even less people, apparently, to go.
Exactly.
Let's dumb down America even more.
Right.
Let's, just turn our backs on the education system.
And the Department of Education, by the way, is on the chopping block.
Yeah.
Project 2025 says they're going to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And now, because the president has a superpower now that he is king, he can completely get rid of the Department of Education.
We ought to talk to the Busted Pencils guy. Let's see if we can get a hold of those guys and talk about that. Because I'm sure
heard a little bit of their show last night. They're
all over
public education.
Yes, that's what they do. I mean, they're just.
But we're seeing that disappear.
Yes.
So if they get rid of the Department of Public Education, there's a lot of funding, a lot of requirements, for the government to at least get the states to at least provide public education.
Right. Yeah.
And once that goes away, we're going to have private schools and tuitions that people can't afford, and people won't be able to get their education that they need. And we'll have a dumbed-down population, and they'll be voting for the most ridiculous people possible, like Donald Trump.
Frightening, Coming up, we're going to check in with Brittany Merlot, and she'll give us the update on our wet weather and possibility of flooding now. And also Jim Santel talking about the Supreme Court immunity case. It's all coming up on the John and Gordy Show.
Morning, Brittany.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
No.
1 sec.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hi, Brittany. Is it raining up there?
No.
We're getting a lot of rain here.
It's miserable here.
I noticed the local weather people talking about flooding.
Okay.
There's an impossible heat wave, by the way, that's moving into the studio.
It's about 117 degrees here.
It's not that warm. I don't know why you guys think
it is.
so
It is that warm.
In your studio, it's fine. We walk through
the door is open between the two.
I'm telling you, there's a 7-degree difference.
5 seconds.
You know how it. WMDX 92.7 FM and 1580 AM in Madison. The John and Gordy Family Show on a very wet, rainy Tuesday morning.
Yes. Rain is coming down.
Yeah.
I don't know why they say that, because rain is always coming down. It's not going up. The only place it can go is down when it's raining.
Are you sure? Aren't there conditions where the rain goes up?
Well, maybe I'm not sure about that, and that's why we have our meteorologist joining us right now, our civic media meteorologist, Brittany Merlot. Good morning.
Maybe she can straighten us out on this.
Rain always goes down, right? Oh, Sam, could you get that special jingle ready? Yeah.
What's that?
What?
Oh.
I'm sorry.
There's
Go
a
ahead.
Special jingle.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
Brittany, I know.
I got a surprise for you coming up. Just be ready.
So about the rain going up or down?
Right.
Sometimes it goes sideways.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
She's compromised.
Yeah.
Sideways.
Yeah, it's been raining all morning here, and they're talking about some flooding possibilities. You know, with all this rain, it just seems like every day or every couple of days we're getting deluged with more and more of this. When will it ever end, huh?
It seems like it's never going to end, especially right now in Madison, because you've got that big line just hitting you over and over. The system is barely moving. It's barely shifting off to the east. So you're going to see a couple more hours of rainfall. You're probably going to see rain most of the day today, actually, maybe just a couple of hours of dryness later on this afternoon, because we've got another wave headed our way this evening. And some of those could put down another inch of rainfall. So
oh, no.
It's not looking good. That's exactly why they're talking about the potential for flooding, because the soil can only absorb so much so fast. Our rivers are already full. They're already at their banks. Something's going to give somewhere. So be prepared.
Okay. All right. Well,
it looks bad. Looks very, very bad.
It's days like this when I think, what's the weather like on other planets? Like Jupiter, for example, or maybe
interplanetary weather.
Oh, yes. So I'd like you to, I know you have all kinds of maps and all kinds of, computers all around you there in your weather center.
Got satellites all over the place.
Satellites and radar. Could you look up the Jupiter weather for today, Brittany? What would be the high temperature? What, for example, I just wonder if you were on a different planet, because Earth is we're going down the tubes, and looking for a place to set up shop somewhere else.
Tell it like it is.
Let's see. It looks like it's going to be about 234 degrees today. That's Fahrenheit.
I just Googled temperature on Jupiter today, and apparently there's a place called Jupiter, Florida. It's 89 degrees there right now.
See, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
So their Florida is the opposite. I like it. You cool down in their Florida.
Play that jingle again. Come on.
Interplanetary weather.
Okay. So we're going to feature that from time to time, all right?
Okay.
Well, it's great. It's very cold on Jupiter. So,
yeah. Well, okay. What about Venus? Okay, let's do
minus
one more planet.
166 degrees Fahrenheit.
On Venus?
Yeah, on Jupiter.
Well,
Venus.
I want to know
You're
Venus.
all over the map.
I think Venus is hotter. I'm guessing Venus is much hotter.
Average temperature right now is 867 degrees.
Okay, so it's all relative, right? So things are not too bad here in the studio.
That's great. Well, I'm glad we're taking a look at interplanetary weather at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Interplanetary weather.
It's only on the John and Gordy show.
That's right.
That's the only, God. All right, Brittany. Anything else? What are we looking for 4th of July? Because it's right around the corner. Are things going to clear out, or is it just going to rain all through the holiday weekend? We're going to be soaked.
I know. If you want to cut your grass, tomorrow's your only day to do so.
Well, that's a positive look.
And then...
No. I think you guys may get away with all the rain holding off until after the fireworks on the 4th, but Friday,
excellent.
You're not going to escape it. We're all going to see on and off scattered showers and storms, and then we will try to dry out for Saturday and Sunday. But I'm not going to lie. There's some low pressures just swinging across Canada that want to...
Oh, come on and lie. Just...
Well, a lot of communities, they stagger the fireworks. They have it on the weekend, a few days before or after, right?
Yeah.
So
they'll figure it out. But, hey,
well,
as long as there's no lightning, dance in the rain. Who cares?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
All right, Brittany. Well, thank you. We appreciate your report as always, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning, get all the latest, right?
Definitely, and I'm gonna have to brush up on my planetary skills. So
okay, all right. Tomorrow we'll get into Mars and Pluto and some of the other
Pluto's
ones.
my favorite. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, the weather there is just fantastic.
No, I like the character Pluto.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Brittany. Have a great day.
You too.
Take care. All right.
We got a phone call here. Is that right? Oh, okay.
We do. Do you want me to preview it first, or do you want to just see what happens? It's Dick.
Let's
Well,
talk to
put
Dick.
him on the air. Yeah. He's always got something good to say. Good morning, Dick. Hello, Dick.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You're on the air with us.
That thing that you said, what, 800 plus degrees in Venus?
Yeah.
Keep in yeah, it's a dry heat.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, you forgot to include that.
I did.
Gordy.
Yeah, the humidity is really low. So very good, Dick.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Wow.
Puts it all in perspective.
I know,
it's
it
all
really
relative.
Does. It does. It does.
Okay.
Do we have time for a really a quick media
Sure.
world?
Yes. Absolutely.
Can you
You
just throw
go
one
for it.
in here?
I
All
think
right,
so.
just, let's do the intro.
All
Let's
right.
do the intro.
Okay.
There they were, sitting in the studio, wondering what's it all made. The signal's black, there's no coming back. They've got to follow that dream. Well, you ought to know it's a meteor world. You ought to know by now.
You know.
You're all alone in a meteor world with John and Gordy going round and round.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, it keeps turning.
It does, and we've got a board game for everybody.
A board game,
Yeah,
you say?
it's called Storm the Capitol.
Oh, really?
Pick this up at a store near you, maybe. I don't know.
Are you kidding?
The goal is to get 100 ballots and make it to the final room where Trump waits for players so he can overturn the results of the 2020 election. Fun for the whole family.
Sounds like it.
The limited edition game, which is designed for 4 to 7 adult players and is being sold for $65, is based on the events that everybody watched unfold on January 6th. I think we saw what we saw. I'm not sure. I'm questioning that now. And it allows players to relive one of the funniest days in American history.
Oh, funny.
It says
Yeah.
here.
Death and destruction.
The
That's
board
pretty funny.
game was created by TrueAnon,
TrueAnon.
a political podcast at Patreon. Well, I guess they rate 10. They're so good.
Okay.
They're selling their board game, Storm the Capitol. It's a great rendition of it on the cover of their box. It's beautiful.
Wonderful.
So
that's great.
it's a game.
It's a real thing.
Wait. What are they going to come out for the Supreme Court, though? That's what I want to know.
That's a game in progress. All right, 7:29. Coming back with much more on the John and Gordy Show as we continue.
Jim
for
Santel's
Tuesday.
coming up.
Yep, he's next.
John and Gordy in the morning. As we were saying, let the sun shine. It's the John and Gordy Show.
Hi, Jim.
Sam, how are you this morning?
Good.
Good. Everything, aside from being apparently it's way too hot there, is that what I understand?
What did he say? I'm sorry.
Aside from it being too hot, everything is good here, right?
You know, there's a fellow who's right down the hallway there. His name is Sage. Tell him to either pay the AC bill or not, one of the two. But,
I know.
These work conditions are simply intolerable if you know a good attorney.
We want you to represent us in our case.
Right.
Could you?
Right.
All they need to do is make one of these windows a functioning window. You know, that's all it would take.
I can't wait to see
window.
Jim battling up against Maggie Dawn. I just can't wait to see that battle.
Right,
See how that works.
Right? Over air conditioning, right?
Yes.
The major issues of our day, right?
Forget about the Supreme Court. They have already destroyed the country.
Exactly. Right? So.
We heard the initial reports and all that stuff, Jim, and it's actually worse. It's worse than they had reported.
It is, and I will tell you that's one of the things I'll say at the very outset here is that even though it's early in the day, I'm very concerned about my being hyperbolic and hair on fire. I don't think we are.
No.
This is the decision of the Constitution. And America died yesterday. America
It did.
died yesterday.
Okay, you stick to that. That sounds. I mean, I think we're. This is a nation in shock, Jim.
Right.
Just
It is, and again, again, not the fun thing to do, but you've got all these tabs here. I've read this twice now. There's some amazing language in both directions, both the majority opinion, things that are just incredible to hear, and then you've got, again, Sonia Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson. She's an understated reporting on this. Both of them. Sotomayor describes the implications of this, which, again, if you give me a chance, I'll read a little bit, a couple of sentences. Ketanji Brown Jackson talks about the future of America.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh yeah.
both of them are just chilling, and they've got the front row seat on this. It's not just us, but on Friday they changed the way government works. On Monday, they destroyed the government, and
Yeah.
we are there today.
Yep.
It's just, I don't think you can be hyperbolic about this. Although people will again, and frankly, the majority, Roberts does say, "Ladies, just calm down." He's got.
Oh my God!
No, really? Did he?
Oh, absolutely.
Basically. Oh my God.
Yep. His comment. I've got it here somewhere. That can.
Well, yeah. Be
Wow.
sure to include that. Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Right.
stunning.
Or even the suggestion of saying that is just mind-boggling.
He doesn't say ladies, but he basically says that the dissent is just over there. I'll pull up the specific language here.
Yeah.
And get that. So it's just, which means he knows that this is over the top.
In the future, let's just say Biden gets reelected. Could he do something to? Can they enlarge the Supreme Court? How could this be overturned someday?
Sure. You can do, obviously you change justices, which may not happen, but you can legislatively, you don't need a constitutional amendment, you can legislatively enlarge the size of the court. Require both, again, would not require a constitutional amendment, both houses of Congress, and President signs that you could do that. And of course, the current president entertained that early on and had a commission who told them, maybe not so much. It needs to be back on the table now.
It does. It does. My God. I mean, this is way over the top.
It is. Pulling up the language here about the dissent. Got too many tabs.
I'm going to do a sponsor tag before we get into this.
All right.
Okay.
Just before we introduce Jim. So.
Yeah, my son
seconds.
sent me a guy, Dirk Schwenk. He looked at it and he gave his input on all of it, but he'd take little screenshots of every part of their decision and just gives this perfect example. Like firing any federal executive branch employee at will, he can do that. Right. Goodbye civil service. SCOTUS dystopian vision can limit or examine POTUS powers that even throws Congress oversight into doubt.
Okay, here we go.
Civic Media now returns you to the John and Gordy Show, already in progress. If you call this progress. There are a lot worse things you could call it if you ask me, but nobody asked me. Never mind. Why do I have to read this?
She's being forced to read that. WMDX, the John and Gordy Family Show.
Mm-hmm. It's a Tuesday morning. It's rainy. Temperatures at 62 degrees, highs around 72. Rain pretty much through the day. And the John and Gordy Show is sponsored by Verlo Mattress of Madison. Sleep better, dream bigger on a handcrafted, locally made mattress. Find them on Madison's east and west sides or online at verlo.com.
I can't wait to find out whether Jupiter is cooler tomorrow or warmer tomorrow in your interplanetary weather forecast that you've just put in place.
Well, Brittany Merlot will, have all the details first thing tomorrow morning. So
we've got Jim Santel here to calm our nerves and tell us that all is well.
Everything's going to be okay.
Supreme Court decision yesterday giving complete immunity to the king president in place.
Good morning, Jim.
John Gordy, good to be with you again. And a hot temperatures in Washington, D.C. in July and August as well. And plainly producing, as you just indicated, some very hot language. And language that, again, just at the outset, if I may take
where do we begin? Yeah.
Well, just an editorial personal privilege here. I've tried very hard not to be hyperbolic. I've read the opinion twice, including the dissenting opinions, the concurring opinions. I have tabbed them for those of you watching online. I've got the Jim Santel tabs all over the place on these.
Yes.
Which here and done all that. And it is impossible not to, let me put it this way. It is appropriate to identify this opinion as not only an attack on the United States of America, it is at least the beginning of the end of the Republic. It is rescission of the Constitution. It is a denial of the basic tenets that are set forth, checks and balances, different branches of government that temper each other. And it is stunning beyond belief. And the dissents obviously identify that in ways big and small, but it is worth reading for every American. I know it's a lot. It's about 50 pages, and the majority opinion, it's about 50 pages, and the dissenting opinion. As much as I hate to destroy people's 4th of July holidays, it's the kind of thing Americans need to read, because it is a document that now stands at the precipice of bringing this country to its knees. It is that dramatic.
It is. I think we're all just kind of stunned, and it's
shocking.
And to imagine anybody who's not following this at this point or staying up to date on the news, when they first initially reported this, it was a soft sell basically. Yes. And as we read it over and over, we're realizing that this is absolute power by the president at this point. He can create any one of these scenarios and call it an official business, and get off on all of this. He's already trying to, get the case thrown out, with the case Stormy Daniels case, and he wasn't even president at that time. This is an amazing thing that we're seeing take place right now, and there's so much analysis out there. And for me, Jim, it's where the dissent, I think, is the most important part of these decisions. That's what I'm hanging all my hopes on, is that somewhere along the way we start seeing it and feeling like those people who are writing the dissent, because that's where it all comes together. Can we just broach this first, Jim? What we should do is expand the court. We were discussing that earlier in the administration, doing such a thing like that. And could you explain that situation way back when?
Sure. Absolutely. We know that under the Constitution that there's this good behavior clause, arguably that prohibits and limiting terms, although there's some interesting language in some legislation pending in the United States Senate right now that would, in fact, limit terms. Sheldon Whitehouse is the author of that. There's some interesting possibilities there, but the larger one would be, and perhaps the more accessible one, would be expand the size of the court. And we know that since the time of our founding, that the numbers of Supreme Court justices have wavered, as low as 5. Their proposals to get up to 11, 13. We recall, maybe not personally, we recall FDR's attempt to pack the court, so to speak, in an attempt to some of his concerns about what they were doing. The bottom line is that you can make a legislative change. Both houses of Congress and then a signature by the president would accomplish an increase, and you could increase to any number you want. You probably don't want to increase it to 25, but 11, 13, some odd number so that you can always get a decision. That would be appropriate. You can do that legislatively. Do not need to go to the states. Do not need to have a constitutional amendment. And you may recall, John and Gordy, that early on in this administration, the president commissioned a commission and said, look at all these things. They came back with a report, kind of milquetoast, and said, well, it's an option, but we don't necessarily recommend it. We've got all kinds of concerns here. And it basically was put on the shelf. It is time to take that off the shelf once again. Do it immediately, regardless of who the next president is. I recognize it will not be taken off the shelf if Donald Trump becomes the president. But the reality is that those things have got to be back on the table because of the nature of what the existing 9 members, I should say actually 6 of the 9, have done. Important to note also Amy Coney Barrett, a little bit of a chink in that armor, if you will, which is appropriate to talk about her also in her statements here. But this is dramatic. And as you said, the big, broad headlines initially that say Donald Trump given some forms of immunity. No. Read this opinion. It is absolute immunity and it is presumptive immunity. And there's nothing else. And the presumption is that he will get absolute immunity. And here's the rub. The prosecutors have got to overcome that presumption during the course of the trial or hearings. That is establishing in him an assumption, a presumption, that everything from his connections with the Department of Justice, the vice president, the fake electors, other people, his communications, all of that immune. And you can determine whether or not there are some aspects of those that are unofficial, but the burden again on the government to show that they're in that second category, not the first, is extraordinary. Can't prove, cannot look at his motive for doing this, which is a basic portion of every single criminal prosecution. And you can't even make reference to official acts in explaining unofficial acts. An evidentiary ruling inside this opinion that Amy Coney Barrett, yes, does take exception to. That's the one area where she says, gentlemen, you're going way too far. But you read the opinion from start to finish. It is an outline for the motions of Donald Trump to dismiss the case entirely. And I will go so far as to say that Tanya Chutkan, the judge who's inheriting this complete mess of a constitutional matter here, may not have much to do, because the Supreme Court basically said that you've got to dismiss virtually everything here. Maybe you can have some hearings and find some tendril of support that there are some unofficial things that he did. But for the most part, all of this looks to us as if it's official capacity. It's official stuff. He is absolutely immune from that. Unless you find otherwise, get at it. That's the upshot of the majority opinion.
If in fact we can get another commission together, is there a way to go back to the original meaning of the Constitution, where the Supreme Court is not given this ability to call laws unconstitutional? Is there a way to go back to a time like that and take Mayberry? I think that was the case way back when, 1802 or 8 or whatever it was, where they took on this responsibility, taking powers away from Congress right away, first thing.
Right. John
Is there
Jay,
a way to return to that?
Yep, John Jay of Marbury versus Madison, we got it just right. A dispute between Thomas Jefferson and James and John Adams at the time. It is decidedly the purview of the courts to tell us what the law is. And you're right, it was simply a bald statement of affirmation of power, and we followed it ever since then. And again, the extent how you may interpret that, if you are interpreting a statute, a piece of the Constitution, some language in the Constitution, I'll give you that, if you will. But the usurpation of the Constitution, if you interpret that statement by John Jay and Marbury versus Madison John Marshall, as being more significant than that, then you need to revisit this. And it also goes to the larger issue, which I think you're implicitly suggesting. We've gotten way out of balance. Where is the United States Congress, not just on this, but on all sorts of other issues? We've got cases involving air pollution. We've got cases involving abortion. We've got cases involving social media, all kinds of things. Why are these in the court? Why aren't the people across the parking lot there in that big, beautifully domed building? Why aren't they wrestling with these things? That was the vision of the founders, to go back to your original thought here. Getting back to original concepts of the Constitution. We've got legislators who are supposed to be doing that. They're not. They vacated the field. We're told now that again, in many ways, the president has this huge amount of power, but the courts also have this dramatic amount of power, as we saw last Friday in the Chevron case.
We're talking with Jim Santel, host of Amicus, a law review here on the Civic Media Network. And Jim, I want to ask you, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, she's going after Clarence Thomas now, and putting something on the House floor about possible impeachment, or at least floating that idea. Not that Is it going to go anywhere? I mean, how do you impeach somebody during the course of the end of a presidential term and in an election? Is this gonna have any effect, or is she just doing this to point out all the things that Clarence Thomas has done since he's been on the bench? I mean, more and more stuff is coming out about him, taking all these trips and all this, a lot of gifts, all that stuff. What do you think about that?
Well, absolutely. And the footnote is, even inside this particular opinion, Clarence weighs in a 9-page concurrence, and he says, oh, by the way, Jack Smith and the special counsel appointment here, that's unconstitutional too. Again, just craziness, if you will.
Amazing stuff.
Right, it is. And you wonder, okay, what about the other special counsels who are out there? But putting that issue to one side, as the Representative Ocasio-Cortez indicates, as she goes forward, can you petition to impeach a Supreme Court justice? Yes. It's been done once in our nation's history. It's a guy named Samuel Chase, done unsuccessfully. But yes, it's the same process as you would for a president. You need a majority of the members of the House to issue articles of impeachment. You need 2/3 of the Senate to convict, and then you remove. And we've never done that with anybody in our history, but it does send the message. I think that's what she's doing here. She's sending the message there's something very, very wrong here with the way that the Supreme Court justices, and this one in particular, are behaving. I think there's also a basis for looking very closely at Sam Alito as well, and not even so much for the gifts and the other things, but also his basic contempt, his cynicism when it comes to the basic trappings of America, which are also much on display these days. She can do that, regrettably, in this time and place. What she is doing is largely visual and largely
symbolic.
Well, Congress has a responsibility to control the Supreme Court in some way, shape, or form, and they have just, neglected it totally. It has not counted it at all. And that's the problem. We have a text here from somebody saying, let me get this straight. The Supreme Court had to take the power away from the administration because it had too much power. On the other hand, the president, who's the head of the administration, has unlimited power. So there you go.
Exactly. These bookends, we talked about Friday's opinion, this opinion. I think they are at least inconsistent, putting it very, very gently, when it comes to those assignments of power.
This is legislating from the bench. If anybody could ever define it, this is it.
Right.
This is a right-wing talking point, legislating from the bench, and I've never seen anything like this before.
Nobody has.
And our jaws have dropped. We can't get it together. I'm in shock. Gordy's in shock. You're in shock. What are we going to do?
Sam's in shock, yeah.
And we should, again, not take any comfort. It is cold comfort. But again, you've got these Supreme Court justices, and the three of them. Elena Kagan weighed in on the other case we talked about from Friday. And you've got Justice Jackson, Justice Sotomayor.
Jim, can you just hold on? I want to get you. I want you to read from their dissents.
Yeah, can you stay with us
right after this break? All right. Fantastic.
More with Jim Santel on the John and Gordy Show coming up in just a moment.
Expecting to Fly. Expecting to Fly. Was that the song? Expecting to Fly?
What is that from? Is it from anything? Or
Tom Petty.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It's just the vocals taken out. Yeah.
Whoever thought it would come to this? America is just...
And there are, just for, again, I can read from, again, it's not overly long. There's some really chilling language from Sotomayor. It's maybe about 20 seconds or so. And
right.
That's fine. No, read it.
No,
please,
we want to hear
it.
Sure.
Point it out to everybody.
We've got about 5 minutes, so fill it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Good.
I've got my son sent me this Dirk Schwenk, his interpretation. SCOTUS outlaws inquiry into motive. So any act that can be said to be within the scope of any authority remains official and immune, even if done as a result of a bribe.
I also want to ask, how does the official process of impeachment? How is this affected? Like, how do they relate to each other? Does it have any?
Sure, right. And so you can still, again, just like a member of the Supreme Court.
It's not the same. It's different now. WMDX 92.7 FM at 1580 AM. Madison, John and Gordy, the family show.
Tomorrow we'll be at Short Stack Eatery. We'll be there live. You can join us. It's at Johnson and State Street, and we will have a guest with us, Terry Parisi, the Sustainable Farm in Stoughton. That's what she'll be talking about. So again, Short Stack Eatery tomorrow morning, 6 to 8 a.m.
Food. That's what it's all about.
Continuing our discussion here with Jim Santel. He's the host of Amicus, a law review, a great show that's on the Civic Media Network every
Saturday
weekend.
Morning.
Yeah, every Saturday. So let's get back to it.
All right. Let's get to some of the dissenting opinions, because I think that's what I'm focusing on permanently from now on.
Yeah, right? On this immunity case.
Making sense, and the majority is just off the wall, absolutely out of control. So let's hear some of those dissents in the immunity decision.
Sure, just by way of introduction, there's very little to be silly about here, but you've got, in the majority opinion, you've got John Roberts basically saying, this is my interpretation of this, but he's saying that dissenters, calm down, almost as if to say, ladies, don't be so upset about this.
Yeah.
They strike a tone of chilling doom that is wholly disproportionate to what the court actually does today, and conclude and goes on after that. That's basically, quiet down. Wow. We don't want to hear from you, which is really offensive. For what it's worth, Sonia Sotomayor comes back. It's one small line. She's talking about absolute immunity. At some point, she says, feel free to skip those pages in the majority's opinion. That's what she writes in her concurrence. Again, you've got some back and forth there. A bit more seriously, here's what she writes. He says, the President of the United States of America, I'm sorry, here, let me get the better language here. Okay. Here we go. The President of the United States of America is the most powerful person in the country and possibly the world. When he uses his official powers in any way under the majority's reasoning, he will now be insulated from criminal prosecution. Orders the Navy's SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival? Immune. Organizes a military coup to hold on to power? Immune. Take a bribe in exchange for a pardon? Immune. Immune, immune, immune. Let the president violate the law. Let him exploit the trappings of his office for personal gain. Let him use his official power for evil ends, because if he knew that he may one day face liability for breaking the law, he might not be as bold and fearless as we would like him to be. That is the majority's message today. There is more like that from Sonia Sotomayor, and she talks about the practical consequences. And then I want to commend to everybody the concurrence, not getting a lot of attention these days, from Ketanji Brown Jackson. She talks about what we have already talked about this morning, which is the impact upon our nation. She says, stated simply, the court has now declared that for the first time in history, the most powerful official in the United States can, under circumstances yet to be fully understood and determined, become a law unto himself. As we enter into this uncharted territory, the people, in their wisdom, will need to remain ever attentive, consistently fulfilling their established role in our constitutional democracy, and thus collectively serving as the ultimate safeguard against any chaos spawned by this court's decision. For like our democracy, our Constitution is the creature of their will and lives only by their will. There's more of that as well. It is just, again, I encourage you to perhaps even begin with the dissents, because then when you read the majority opinion, at least be tempered by some rationality. And again, all the language of this is stunning. The content also, which again does establish, as the president said last night, a kingdom here for the first time since we got rid of the King of England. You cannot overstate the significance of what the Supreme Court has written, what is done. And again, these fascinating things restricting the way in which the trial will go forward. Again, this motive restriction, this notion that you cannot describe the motive for doing that. That's what happens in every single criminal trial. You understand the intent, the purpose, of what the defendant has done. And by the way, Jack Smith, don't do that. And beyond that, you can't also even make reference to official capacity things in describing what you may find as unofficial. What does that mean? And Amy Coney Barrett does take to task the majority for that, but that's her one exception to her otherwise concurring opinion in all of this.
Yeah.
Boy.
Well, there's also the immunity, according to this interpretation I have on my phone here, ordering your VP not to allow a peaceful transition of power.
Right.
That Trump is legal. He can do this. He can tell his VP to stop the proceeding.
Right. And they basically divide this into 5 different sections. They say that is the indictment. There's a Department of Justice piece, there's a vice presidential piece, a fake electors, other people, and then communications. And you're absolutely right. As the vice president, they say, well, he's got these official connections. He's got to be in communication with the vice president. And so this is a more difficult question if, in fact, the president is encouraging the vice president to engage in criminal conduct. That's a tougher question. The one that they have no problem with, and this is the one that is close to home for me, is when it comes to engagements with the attorney general, which are also part of this indictment, those absolutely immune. You stay away from those. There's no question. Tanya Chutkan, nothing to see here. And that's the one that really scares, I think, everybody, including you, the two of you, and me, and Sam, everybody else there, listeners as well. That obviously the president has to have some communications with his attorney general and other people there. But the notion, once again, Richard Nixon is calling. He wants his presidency back, right?
Yeah.
Exactly what Richard Nixon got in trouble for is encouraging the Department of Justice to game in criminal act. Now we learn in 2024 that the things that a president may encourage his Department of Justice to do that are criminal in nature, for which Richard Nixon lost his presidency, those are okay. And there's nothing that survives when this goes to trial. That is as dramatic as it can be.
We got a question here for you, Jim, on the text line. This ruling doesn't give the president the authority, quote unquote, to commit a crime, just the immunity to do so, or the immunity if they do so. Correct? Which is basically the same thing in my view.
Sure, right. Again, I think that's right. We've got maybe a budding lawyer there who enjoys language, which is a good thing. I don't mean at all to doubt the seriousness of the question. That's right. We would still say that the president is committing crimes, which would be horrific, but there's nothing we can do about it. And so, in fact, what that means is that president is above the law and is, in fact, a king who can do whatever crimes, but nothing we can do to stop that.
Well, Jim, thanks for joining us. We covered a lot of ground here today. And again, Jim's show, Amicus, a law review on Saturday mornings on the Civic Media Network.
Jim, you might have to just stop by the studio and hold our hands one of these mornings. I'm starting to freak out.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
You're great.
That'll do it for us for today. We'll be at Short Stack Eatery tomorrow.
There you go.